Would you rematch Cormier there?
Man,
What if they can set that up?
First of all, he's like, I step the leg back, and then I'm right here, and I can get in like this.
Like what? I'll let you have it.
Yeah.
Your lips. It's time for a brand new episode of What We Talking Jit. Say what? We talking jit. Say what? We talking jit. Say what? We talking jit. Said it's time for a brand new episode of Talking Jit.
Was it military guy?
I looked up how to do intros because it's the most awkward part.
Yeah.
I was like, it sucked. But for the people who don't know, Nick, you're a D1 All-American wrestler. You fought Bellator, right?
Yep.
Fought Bellator, and you're the UFC coach here at UFC Gym Largo.
Yeah.
And I actually, working with Kyle, I saw your program, and I was like getting the itch again. I'm like, dude, I got to hop into some MMA classes.
Yeah.
But someone with like the there's something huge about like a wrestler, like a high level wrestler, which is what hearing about you and you going against Cormier, which I guess we'll get into that.
Yeah.
That's huge. But and then also coming fresh off the RAF event, where you, I think you were at RAF.
I was at RAF, yeah, RAF, yeah, Real American Freestyle.
How was
last
that?
week. It was the best wrestling event I've probably ever seen.
Right?
You know?
Dude, it was extremely entertaining.
Yeah.
And I think like because I'm a normie, I'm not a wrestler. From MMA and jiu-jitsu, I like wrestling, I'm into it, but I've never taken strictly wrestling. But to go to that event and watch it, I was entertained. I had a blast. I was entertained the whole time.
Right.
And so watching freestyle and how it works, and like just being able to see like these guys' accolades, like 2 Olympians, 2 ex-Olympic champs went against each other.
Yep.
So you have a freestyle background, right?
I do, yeah. Folk style. I wrestled folk style, freestyle, and Greco as a kid, but I wrestled freestyle at the open level and Olympic level.
The thing I always like about wrestling is like the grind mentality. Like there's no laziness.
Yeah.
You can't be lazy, right?
Right. Well, it's a deal where, you know, wrestling. I mean, you gotta like. I was a social studies teacher and I was a history major.
Oh, really?
So like, I look at wrestling and I like looking at things philosophically too. Like, what exactly is wrestling? Because it's kind of strange. And I went back far with it. I don't want to get like too crazy with it, but
I'll go as deep as you want, man.
So like, wrestling's part of like, if you put 2 infants together, they're gonna grab each other and kind of roll around. So it's entwined in like human nature to have physical contact, whether it's through play or whatever, affection, that sort of thing. And then I think as like civilization evolved, however it is, there's so many conspiracy theories now how it did, but however it did, you had to have like a warrior class of people. And I think wrestling developed, very different versions of wrestling developed in learning how to train the warrior class of society.
Wrestling is like one of the oldest
sports.
Yeah.
Right? And I think they made it a sport afterwards. I think they realized, well, we can't hit each other with rocks, and if we're we can't strike each other all the time because we're going to break our faces open and we're going to hurt our bodies. But the sport of wrestling, you can actually go very hard at an extended period of time. And you know, for being an MMA fighter, you can't box 100% every day.
No, you can't.
You can't, you know what I mean? You can't take shots all the time. I mean, very few people can live like that, survive, and have a sustaining life. But with wrestling, it's one of those things where you can get in there and really grind. And I think, you know, as time evolved, like it became sport, like in ancient Greece, probably in ancient Persia and ancient, Babylon and stuff. Different societies throughout the world celebrated it through sport. And they had different people with different styles and different versions.
So is that where you think it came from? Like from war?
I do. I think it comes from war. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That makes sense, especially with how like ancient it goes back.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like I've got 2 kids, and that's the first thing they do, just grab each other and throw each other around.
Yeah.
On the bed, they jump on each other.
Yeah.
And stomp each other down.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah. And well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and then
philosophical.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's ways to categorize society, and Socrates did this in the Republic. He called it gold, silver, iron, bronze. Gold is the ruler class. Silver is the military and police force. Bronze is the artists and artisans. and iron is like the working and business class. And if you categorize it like that, wrestling fits in the silver class. No, but it has all of them, but it originates from the silver class, I think.
Is that, do you adapt that mindset when you're training and competing at that high level?
I mean, I didn't. I think as a competitor, I didn't look at it that much. But I think when I look at it now, when I look at wrestling and the way I view wrestling, like when I was a kid, like a wrestling coach was a wrestling coach. You only really cared that much about wrestling. But I think as we get older and information has proliferated, anything can proliferate into everything. So it's a great metaphor for a lot of things. You learn how to deal with defeat, learn how to deal with victory. Sometimes people get your heads get too big. You learn how to deal with injury. You learn how to deal with learning how to respect yourself and respect others, how to deal with, loss, how to plan. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that really go into it. And wrestling is one of those things, like any of the other competitive martial arts, but you can just do it a lot. You get a lot of matches. You get a lot of mat time.
Yeah, like a lot of, and does that take away like the edge of competing at all, or does it make it even?
I think, listen, man, like the Soviets did a real good job. There's different mindsets to that. With the rise of the Soviet Union, they really put a lot of focus and intention on sports performance and Olympic performance, and developed periodization and probably even pharmaceuticals, everything. They really put a lot of focus and intention on it. And they have a different mindset, like their competitions and their training. They do early identification. They put you in there. They're like, okay, this kid's a gymnast. This kid's an athlete, first of all. This kid's going to be a mathematician. This kid's an athlete. He's going to go and become a gymnast, a wrestler, Greco-Roman wrestler, freestyle wrestler. And they would develop you that way. And they didn't do a lot of like free market competitions. Like they weren't traveling to the Tulsa Nationals or whatever. They would do a lot of in-house competitions, and they did a lot of different versions of training. Whereas the American system is more like it's a free for all. You have competitions every weekend. You can start kids at 3 years old.
Yeah.
Go all the way until you're old men now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Russia didn't really have, but USSR didn't really have it like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because like, so one of the biggest things with competitors, and you kind of brushed on it, what you just said earlier or a couple seconds ago, was like, we've talked about this at my gym with jiu-jitsu competitions.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the guys don't compete because they're afraid to lose.
Oh yeah.
But when you wrestle so much or you're competing so often, losing is kind of like, it's inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen. It's one of those things. Like, there's this what's his name, Wolverine, or the X-Men Wolverine, the Marvel character. They're like, they're like, did your claws come out? Does it hurt every time your claws come out? And he's like, yeah, every single time. You know what I mean? So yeah, it fucking hurts when you lose if you really care. But I mean, that can be adapted and changed and transferred into, finding the silver lining in things, learning the lessons that need to be learned, learning how to deal with emotional control. You get a lot of that in wrestling. And so you just learn to, and then there's other ways to adapt that. Like you understand, like, what is the worst case scenario here? Well, I lose, I get embarrassed. Okay, well, are your parents still going to love you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it sucks because some parents are assholes to their kids.
I've seen it.
Yeah, you've seen it. I saw it a lot as a kid. And it didn't happen with me, thank God. My parents are cool. My dad was really cool. But like, you learn the lessons, and there's winning and losing. That sounds
No, but I'll just come from, kind of the perspective most people have at my gym, jiu-jitsu wise.
Sure.
When they compete, they're worried about losing, coming back to the gym and everyone looking at them losing.
Yeah, clowning them or whatever.
This actually reminds me of what I just saw. I just saw a piece of Jordan Burrow walking after he lost, and people yelling at him, "You suck, you suck."
Yeah.
And he yelled back, "What have you done?"
Yeah.
And that was so perfect, because when people at my gym try to take the next step, try to test themselves, and then they lose, they're worried about the gym and people looking at them like a loser, like they're less valued.
Yeah.
But it's more like, what did you guys do?
Exactly. Listen, there's only like winning is never, and like accomplishing things is never guaranteed. Well, what's definitely guaranteed is if you never even step foot to try.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed never to happen. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like in
You know?
wrestling, you don't get the chance, like American, like you're saying, you don't get the chance to not try.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity here. There really is, and it's growing more and more, which is cool. You know, with that R, you know,
With yeah, I think RAF.
the RAF is like a cool,
Dude, and I'm like,
opportunity.
we had that one this weekend, and I get online and I'm like seeing 3 or 4 more promotions already set up. Like
Yeah,
Armin Sarukian's on like all of them.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
gonna be like the poster child of it.
They did a good job. I mean, listen, like they're getting the guys that like Armin wasn't. I don't think he grew up wrestling. Oh, I think he grew up doing like Taekwondo or something. But he's doing a couple of things. Number one, he's making himself a better competitor for MMA,
Mhm.
and he's marketing himself and he's growing the brand with it. And he's already a big name, and he's pretty good for a guy that didn't grow up wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's actually really good. He's pretty skilled for a guy that hasn't.
I like how he takes on anything. Like he's
Yeah,
just like, I'll be there.
yeah,
Some like he's always ready. it
yeah,
seems like.
yeah.
Dang, I lost my train of thought. Oh, would you rematch Cormier there?
Man,
What if they can set that
so
up?
first of all, he's like 80 pounds heavier than me.
I know.
So, no disrespect to him, man, but he's a big dude. Listen, that guy is a competitor. He's a real deal dude that steps up in competition. I'm not here bragging about it, but we've trained to get with each other in the room, like at the U.S. Olympic Training Center, and when I was at the Olympic Training Center and I was on the circuit a little bit, and he was like number 1, I was like number 3 or 4. We would have these mock matches on Saturdays, sometimes Wednesdays or Saturdays. It'd be like 3 or 4 matches, and I wrestled him a couple of times. And one time we went head to head in that match. You know, there's nobody else on the mat. We're in the circle, and I beat him head to head, and it was like a big step for me. Now, granted, he's training 3 times a day, every day.
Yep.
This is a Saturday. It's the end of the week. It's not peaked, but it was like a real big, like, I was like, oh, cool. I beat him. It was really close. The rules were different in freestyle back then. And each period started off as 0-0, and I beat him 2 periods to nothing. And afterwards, he grabbed me. He's like, hey, me and you, we're going to wrestle on the side right now. And I was like,
One of
okay.
those guys.
Yeah, I was like, okay. So we go over, we start wrestling. And the head coach is Kevin Jackson, who's Olympic champ, NCAA, 4-time All-American, one of the best wrestlers in American history. He sees us start wrestling. He's like, no. He's like, no way, Cormier, you lost. It's over. Go to the next one. And he was like, no, fuck that. We're going. So he's a real deal competitive dude. It's really deep and ingrained in him. So he kind of like maybe had that a little bit over me, a little bit on that middle edge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it paid off for him. You know, it paid off for him in wrestling and in MMA, of course, definitely.
Can I tell you my outlook on him?
Sure. Go ahead, tell me.
At first, I could not fucking stand him.
Yeah.
I couldn't, because like even like on the Ultimate Fighter when he was the coach,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, he's such a little bitch when he doesn't get his way or when he does.
Yeah.
But now that I've kind of gotten more like into like a coaching role,
Yeah.
and I've kind of been through competitions, I'm starting to come around to appreciate that's just like how bad he wants to win.
Yeah, the dude's a competitor. Yeah, I mean, he's a real. I mean, I've met a few people that are like that. He's just real. He's vocal,
Mm-hmm.
and he's real. He's not really. He doesn't really have a lot of class around. I mean, not to like knock on him or nothing, but like he doesn't care. He wants to win. You know, he wants to win. I mean, we all want to win. Yeah, he was a good athlete. Couldn't really score on him. Great conditioning for a big guy. He was huge for the weight class. He could cut a lot of weight.
He moved good. Like
Yeah.
I feel like his like footwork. I don't know what it is. You tell me, but like I felt like
he's
angles were always
slick, big. He didn't really have a great like leg attack, but you couldn't score on him. He would make you, he did really good fakes, really good movements where he could like make you fake, snap you down. And like I said, he had a couple of big moves, and he was a stud athlete. Like he was a Division I football athlete. Like he could have played football at LSU. That's
crazy.
You know what I mean? And he chose to wrestle.
Gotta appreciate it. Wrestling at that high level, what would you say like most, let's say high school D3 colleges have misunderstood about wrestling? Any common mistakes?
I mean, now it's, with just so much information out there now, it's just like when I went to college, like the internet just came out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then since then, Wi-Fi, and now AI. I think it's like a lot of coaches treat everything as a one size fits all.
Yeah.
Like one practice for everybody. And really the best colleges
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, the best colleges develop the individual. You know, and you'll see like some things. Like if you look at like Penn State or you look at Iowa, and now Oklahoma State is like really good now too. David Taylor there. And even Cornell was doing this back in the day too, an Ivy League school that finished in the top 3 in the NCAAs, which was unheard of. It hasn't happened with Rob Cole. They know how to develop their individuals. Everybody should be in shape. Everybody should be tough. Everybody has like their own kind of like style. Everybody has their own kind of mindset. Everybody has their own techniques. You know what I mean? Some people are going to shoot a high crotch with this
Right.
setup, or they're going to put, outside step. Some guys don't. Some guys do it this way. It doesn't have to be, guys, we shoot our high crotch this way where we step our outside foot and we turn, not exactly. No, it's not true.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think that's like such a big coaching like technique. Is a lot of guys do treat like, this is the way, this is how we do
Yeah.
it, this is how we do it.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I'm more of like a concept guy. Like I
Yeah.
like showing the guys I work with
Sure.
concepts,
Sure.
and like for instance, like if I'm talking about passing the guard,
Mhm.
I'm teaching the concept of like kind of pushing the knees together and getting around the legs.
Right.
And here's some few ways I do it, but the biggest thing I'm doing is a connection here to drive and get around.
Right.
So if you find another route, just keep in mind the legs being open is going to keep you inside.
Exactly. So yeah, you put together a concept. It's kind of like the idea is like, I don't care how you pass the guard, just pass it. I'll show you what I do.
Yep.
But you're going to develop your own unique
Yeah.
technique and style that may work exactly for you.
So working with a guy for a month and being like, he just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to dissect it a little bit more and make it a little bit more simple and see how he built.
Exactly. See how long his legs are. See how strong his
Yep.
grip is. See how quick he is.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I mean, well, I spent some time at the University of Iowa, and I spent 4 years with these guys, Terry and Tom Brands. They're the head wrestling coaches. Tom is the head wrestling coach at the University of Iowa. Terry's the head assistant, and they're twins. They're both world champions, both Olympic and bronze medalists, both NCAA champions. But they worked underneath a guy named Dan Gable. So you've heard of Dan
yeah.
Gable
Oh
before.
yeah.
So Gable, and I had an opportunity to work with Gable a little bit too.
Really?
Gable really conceptualized individual training. So they would have team practice every day, and then but you would do individuals for people, usually 1, 2, 3 times a week, depending on what they needed. And some people needed a little bit more, some people needed a little bit less, some people needed a pat on the back. He had some people needed to come and sleep at his house and go in his sauna and give him a little bit of TLC. Some people didn't need to be touched at all and wanted to be individual, didn't want to have anything at all. They figured it out on their own. He was a master of that. Not many people know that about Gable. Gable, like they thought it was like, yeah, they just get in and they work hard and train. Well, not exactly. The dude had his master's degree in psychology, and he understood individual concepts.
Yeah.
He really dug into that. And
Cool.
I think he's one of the first. He's the first person I saw that actually did that at the college level.
That's amazing. So he goes from being like a legend on the mats to like being able to interpret it to
the
people he's around. That's
yeah.
What got you into MMA?
I watched it as a kid, when those first VHSs came out when I was like,
Oh yeah.
16 or 17. We rented those, watched them. And it was cool. You saw some wrestlers in there like Couture and Dan Severn, and
Was Couture in your corner?
one of my fights, yeah, he was in my corner. One of my first name. Yeah, I trained. So that was the first gym I trained out in Vegas. Was his when he first opened Extreme Couture.
I got a buddy who trained there.
Okay, nice.
Oh no,
yeah.
I'm sorry, at Jackson's.
The Jacksons too, yeah. I spent a little time at Jackson's also with Rashad. So anyway, fast forward, like it's happening, and then I remember being at a wrestling camp with Uriah Faber in California.
Oh, that's
because my college roommate was Arsen Alexandrian. He's got a big social media now too. He's one of my best friends. California kid. So Uriah's like, we're doing this wrestling camp, and I met him. He's a pretty unique character. He's like, yeah, I'm doing this cage fighting stuff. And I was like, he showed me a video, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I was like, I'm going to wrestle. And then so I ended up going and spending time with the Brands brothers. Anyway, it grew. The college teammate was Rashad Evans. And so he was my workout partner and training partner. He got into it, won the Ultimate Fighter. And so like I'm wrestling. I'm on this like 2005, 2006. And I'm wrestling. I'm like watching them. And, Rashad had me come out and train with him at Jackson's a couple of times. And I went to Vegas and trained. My other buddy, Gray Maynard, got into it.
Oh, you know Gray too?
Yes, Gray was my roommate and teammate
I
also.
was a huge fan of him.
Yeah, so he's
When he fought Diaz,
yeah,
I was hyped.
yeah, he fought Diaz a couple of times, fought for wars with Frankie Edgar. He was, both guys were stud
Such a
athletes.
stud, yeah.
And and then I ended up moving to Vegas. Gray was in Vegas. That's where he's from. And I moved out there and I kind of started to grow from there,
And then, so these are all UFC guys, but you went Bellator, right?
I did, yeah. So I had it was hard finding fights. I had I'm working full time, doing security.
So you're working full time and fighting Bellator?
Yeah, I signed with Bellator.
Holy
So I had to build my record to 4-5-0. Then I signed with, I got a manager. Didn't really know what I was doing. I was like, yeah, I'll go. I didn't really know anything. I didn't really know jiu-jitsu that well. I didn't really know boxing that well. I was just going to practice, showing up, sparring with Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner and Vanderlei Silva. And they'd
You
beat
don't
the
know
crap out of
boxing
me.
and you're sparring that
Yeah, and Forrest Griffin would beat the crap out of me in
Dude,
boxing.
that's trial by fire.
Dude, and then he would he was good too.
Straight into the deep end.
He knew I could take him down, but he knew how to get up right away. He knew he had MMA defense really down. He's a stud. Okay.
I used to watch all of Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell,
Yeah.
Ortiz matches.
Yep.
And just one day we're like, let's find a gym and go in there. And that was I think it was right after Forrest won.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he was he was the one to watch.
Yeah.
You know, Justin Gaethje now is the highlight reel.
Yep.
I feel like Forrest Griffin is kind of
Yeah.
the guy you did not miss any of his fights back
Right.
then.
Yeah. It's really entertaining.
I read his books. He put out a book I remember reading.
Yep.
I remember them showing him getting ready for the main tough finale, and he's just waking up on a mattress on the floor
Yeah.
with beer bottles and stuff.
Yeah.
What a freaking character.
Yeah, he's a funny dude, and he's a hardworking guy. That's kind of like putting it mildly. That's a guy that he tried to play football in college, and he became a cop while he was in college and playing football at the same time, something like that, and just went after his dreams. He worked hard, really hard.
What was the hardest thing for you to learn? Striking, jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, probably. I mean, probably striking. And the thing is, if I could go back and look at in retrospect, I would have deconstructed it a little bit more. And I would have had a little bit more I didn't have it was Gray was yeah, just get in there, and same thing with a shot. They were yeah, just go. And those guys were good enough to just go in there and spar, and I didn't really know how to throw a jab. I didn't know about strategy. I didn't know about parrying or movement. I didn't know footwork. But what happened was a guy showed up. There's a kid named Amir Sadallah who won the Ultimate Fighter season 11 or something like that. And he had been a Muay Thai guy, and he had this guy who was a Dutch Muay Thai kickboxing coach that came there to train with Amir. And he kind of grabbed me and he's like, hey, you're gonna come train with us. And so he spent time with me doing Dutch drills, the Dutch styles high pace, not a lot of defense, not a lot of movement, but combos, leg kicks, short slips, hand high, not great movement, but excellent hand speed and things like that.
Yeah.
And so I spent time with him, and then we went to the Netherlands. I spent a month and a half in the Netherlands training with all these, and that was awesome seeing kickboxing in Holland.
Yeah.
It was crazy. You had fights every weekend. There's tons of gyms everywhere. It's just probably the second biggest sport besides soccer.
I was gonna say, I think back then that's when striking was huge over there.
Yeah.
UK and Netherlands and stuff. That was
yeah.
I think that was even close to the time where Ultimate Fighter did UK versus USA.
Yeah, we had it. Yeah, they had it then. Yeah.
So they had all the good strikers coming from all over Europe and stuff. And
there's some stud kickboxing guys like Gokhan Saki, Tyrone Spong. They gave it a shot into MMA. And Jermaine Radami, I think she was a champ. Yeah, and the style is it's amazing style. But what it lacked, what I realized later on, is it lacked a little bit of the movement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Incorporating other things. I love it. It's very entertaining, and it's a cool skill to have. But we also need to learn how to be, discerning with our jabs and feints and movements, and the rounds are longer. And, you know what I mean?
If someone asks you for MMA, what translates the best? What
what sport or what art or what
Yeah,
like
let's say that.
striking or like I would say wrestling. I'm biased. I would say wrestling because I would say wrestling is like the lingua franca of combat sports, and particularly like folk style wrestling, freestyle, and Greco. If you can get a little combo of all of them,
I think we're gonna have to edit this out, but I
Yeah.
think I think wrestling too. That was the argument in high school when I liked
Sure.
boxing. Was all my friends were wrestlers,
Sure.
and I was always like, nah, wrestling. They'd always be like, every fight goes to the ground, and if you can control a human on the ground, you're in.
Sure.
But now that I've like spent so much time and done each one, I
Yeah.
think having a good jab and wrestling will get you farther.
Well, let's break this down. I mean, let's look at it historically. Like Jack Dempsey.
Okay.
You know, not many people know this, but Jack Dempsey was also a champion wrestler as well as a boxer too.
I didn't know
He
that.
really only went to boxing, and this is what I heard. I don't have like documented evidence, but I've seen pictures of him wrestling, doing catch wrestling. He went to boxing because it paid more. Maybe he liked it more too. I don't know, but it definitely paid more.
Boxing does pay a lot more.
You know, look at another instance. The most recent one is Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, I believe, wrestled in high school.
Oh yeah.
Wrestling is a big portion of his training. You know, I think just wrestling and just boxing can get you pretty far, but you still need to learn the other intangibles. You look at some of the styles of some of the best guys right now. Look at Sean Strickland. He's pretty much a boxer and a defensive wrestler. Justin Gaethje, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Of course, they do knees, they do low kicks here and there. It's not a Dutch style,
Yeah, like
kickboxing K1 style fight. You know what I mean?
it's like they.
You know,
their
even Alex
shots.
Pereira too. Like he's got pretty good. Like he hasn't faced his top high level wrestler yet, but the guy can defend a takedown, and he's got the best striking in MMA. I think, you know.
What's your favorite takedown from the cage?
Cage, single legs or double legs, I love. But I mean, just simple, real basic.
Can
You
show
know,
me one?
You want to see one right now?
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, all right.
This is because we're talking so much combat jitsu lately. I want to see.
Yeah. So I like just a simple single leg. Okay. And the reason why is because I can transfer it to other things. So if I'm here, yeah, I like a head inside single. But now, of course, we got to watch you grabbing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You got to watch those. You got to be aware of those when those are coming. Okay. But if I'm in here, if it's jiu-jitsu or it's MMA, boom, 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 I grab. I just like to grab right in, and I grab high here. Okay. Yeah, I just grab. You want to like control the core. All right. Rather than be low. There's a time to come low. We're going to start off a little bit higher. See how you start to bring your leg outside here? Yeah. That's fantastic. That's cool because now I can transfer to do other things. If it's MMA and I don't like where I'm at right here, what I do is I like to climb up the rope and switch off to this.
Oh, we call it the motivator.
The motivator? Okay. Well, this is called seatbelt wrestling. Yeah. So I have boom, boom. And I just kind of wait for you here. I can do different things. Yeah. Like if you put that leg back down, like I can come back to it if I want to. You know, now that I'm here, like I like just a simple run the pipe. Head's in here. I step the leg back, and then I'm right here. Now, you know, I'm in.
I love that cross knee.
You know, yeah. So just a simple pipe, and depending on what you do, like I could also come here. I could get my head far on this side and pull this leg in. If I get this leg and I can shelf it, you know, you're in trouble right here. You're going down.
How the hell do I feel so helpless?
Yeah. No. I am probably 80 pounds heavier, 50 pounds heavier than you.
Yeah, but the way you do that, like I'm like,
you know, but I really like, like the thing is we have to remember too is not overcommitting. Like if I'm here and then, you know, say you get strong with that leg and then I'm like, oh no, and I get to my knee, next thing you know, you're grabbing my head, you're getting your hips out, you're sprawling. That's what I want to avoid. That's what these guys at Dagestan are so good at. You know, learning how to, like, worst case scenario, I let go. You know what I mean? And then I can come up top. I can have inside tie. I can throw knees. Boom, boom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Learning how to, like, be a hound in the situation.
When your head's that low, what stops the hit?
So if I'm here like this, I mean, nothing really. I mean, I may have to grab. I may have to, like, take one or two of those and switch off to my seatbelt here. You know? And then look how you are now. Now I can start to play that game a little bit.
Yeah,
you know,
that sucks.
Guys like Islam are so good, and Habib was too, but those little trips and sweeps,
just keep
being able to, like, and if your leg is here, yeah, just being able to get around it like this, you know, this one. you know? Yeah. But then we have all the lifts there too. Like you could play the lift game if you want also. The high crotch lifts there, you know? So
Go ahead, read.
what you want to talk about
Yeah.
over here? And I can get in like this.
Like what?
Yeah.
I'll let you have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow,
So it's like, you know, those guys in Dagestan, and even like Couture was really good in this situation because
oh yeah, Couture.
Couture was so good in this. He was kind of ahead of his game. The guys in Dagestan kind of mimicked him a little bit because Couture wrestled Greco and folk style too. So he could shoot a double leg, a single leg, high crotch, and he could freaking grab double unders, grab around the body. And he learned how to adapt by throwing his knees and elbows and learning how to like hold in those positions. You know, and Habib and Islam are really good at grabbing those positions and kind of holding in there and not giving up a lot. You know what I mean?
Did you ever have issues against jiu-jitsu players?
Yeah, I mean, I got choked out in Bellator against Richard Hale. I freaking came out. He popped me with a couple jabs. I was like, all right, I better take him out. I took him down pretty easy. And then we're on the cage and he like spun off and we ended up, he locked up an inverted triangle on me.
Inverted?
Inverted, yeah, inverted. So his head was behind me. And I didn't really know. I didn't really know what I was doing. I mean, I'm like a year into MMA, year and a half in. And I should have been like going over basics. This is like some of the, looking back in retrospect, going over the basics. Like he had it locked and I pick him up and I'm like squeezing. And I'm like, what am I, you know, I look back, I'm like, I feel so stupid about it. But what I should have done is immediately like, you know, you break it down, peel the leg, pop the head.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I mean, I credit to that dude for taking advantage, but you know, at the same time, like for me, like I said, if I could go back, I would have probably slowed down my development a little bit more.
What belt are you in jiu-jitsu?
Purple.
Purple?
Purple.
Oh, not
Yeah,
that. That's
purple, yeah,
good.
yeah.
How was that transition? Wrestling, was it easy or?
It's a little bit easier, I think, you know, because we're grapplers. We know how to, you know, it's just the game. Yeah, the game is different. You know, the rules are different. Like the goal in jiu-jitsu is obviously to like, you know, kill your opponent, you know, like get for the strangle, look for the chokes, looking for the arm locks. Wrestling, the goal is control and pin, you know, mostly control.
Because I just know like a lot of times with wrestlers, when they start in jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of really good qualities in there, but there's a little bit of switching around. Like a lot of times wrestlers are head forward, so then triangles, arm locks.
Yeah, you get stuck in that. Yeah, you get stuck.
You don't like going to your back, so back takes. So like turtle, a lot of wrestlers go with their backs a lot.
Yeah.
But then again, when you're on top of turtle, wrestlers do pretty good.
Yep.
So just we're like,
yeah. So for me in the beginning, I had to like let go of my ego and like I was training with guys like I was training with Robert Drysdale, Vinny Magalhaes, both Abu Dhabi champions. And they would just beat the crap out of me. They were just like, you know, I'd take him down and he'd like grab a knee bar or a leg, you know, a leg lock or an ankle lock. And then sometimes if they were like really tired and we had MMA gloves and we were doing like a small glove day, I could maybe like hold position on, like if I was on top and they're going, yeah, you know, I could maybe, but if there was like any other thing, they would just submit me in like 30 seconds. So I never really got like breaking down the basics in classes. It was the MMA class. So, then after, you know, I kind of, my career ended and I had kids and stuff. And I kind of, you know, I wasn't going to move forward with it. I thought to myself, I should go back and like learn more about jiu-jitsu, learn more about all of them, judo, jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing.
That's what I love about MMA is like, it was going to be like an endless book.
Yeah.
Like there's so much stuff to learn. If you're getting bored of grappling, you can do a little bit more striking.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, and then even with striking, it's like you get your hands good, but you gotta have like kicks. I remember like one of my fights, I thought, I'm like, I'm gonna tear through this dude. He's gonna suck. Like this is gonna be an easy fight. I met up with him, dude, and he kicked the shit out of my leg. And the first one that hit me, it hurt bad.
Yeah.
And then he got me again later on, and it hurt bad. And then I was like, dude, I haven't spent any time. I didn't expect kicks.
Yeah.
So I didn't spend any time learning how to check.
Yep.
Or how to like stay light.
Yep.
And so I ended up winning, and the other thing I did was I like left my left hand down.
Oh, he kept dropping the left.
So he kept like catching me there. But it was just funny because like I underestimated it. There was a huge lesson because like I was not expecting to get torn up with kicks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I get torn up with kicks, and those things hurt a lot worse than they look.
Yeah, they do, man. Yeah, that's one of those things, one of those areas. Like, just to address that real quick, that's why when we spar in kickboxing, I have us do our drills where we're actually getting hit in our legs. Like if we're doing like a jab low kick or a jab cross low kick, I have our guys eat it just to feel it. Because if you haven't been hitting the legs at all, and you get hit with one of those right on the IT band or on the quad or on the bone,
Oh yeah.
it's debilitating.
Oh
But if
yeah.
you get used to it over and over again, like you learn. I mean, it'll eventually get you, but at a certain point, like you learn how to take 3, 4, 5 of them without, we have to
Yeah.
learn how to check. But yeah, there's always a new dimension to train. Yeah. And I feel like I've learned more as a coach now that I'm getting into coaching now, coaching, regular people and amateur athletes and pros now too. Like I learn more and it's actually more enjoyable. I
Yeah.
enjoy it, you
I,
know?
I really wanted to try to win pans at brown belt,
Okay.
and
You're
just
back.
got my
Okay.
black.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. I just got it 2 months ago,
Congrats.
so things have been a lot different. The respect is just get my black belt, and now everyone's got respect, as if I like woke up one day with a whole book downloaded or something.
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh, I really wanted to win. I tried it the first round. The second round, pans came around, and I had like a couple guys I like worked with a lot, and I'm not a huge fan of BJJ, but
Okay.
I like not this pans that just passed, the year before. I took a back seat, and I had a guy that I work with a lot, and I just really wanted to see him get like a medal. He
I
like
see.
really wanted it. He
Okay.
was hitting all these competitions all year, and I'm like, so taking a step back, I'm like, I'll still have another chance at pans. Maybe I'll start like competing more. It's always the plan, but kids and work,
Yeah. Life.
like,
And
but so I took the back seat to coach, and it was awesome. Like it unexpectedly, I had like I enjoyed it a lot, almost as much as if I was like putting in all the work to compete.
right.
I was just as nervous when he went out. I
Okay.
was just as like in the zone when I was yelling,
Yeah.
trying to get things to work.
Yeah.
And I was just excited when he at least got podium.
Right.
And
Okay.
I was like,
That's cool.
I still had that flush of like, man, this is actually really rewarding.
It is.
you
It
know?
is. Yeah.
So
It is.
you're
Yeah.
going down that path now.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. Like it's a good feeling. And I just started coaching with the wrestling academy that we have here at the gym. And
Oh yeah, get into that if you want.
no, I mean, like it's just like so. These kids started a couple months ago, and we just had our first couple competitions,
Yeah.
and it's cool to see someone hit a double leg.
Mhm.
Not win the match maybe, but like we did something good.
Yeah, like
And they started from scratch, and they're a little bit older too.
Oh,
It's
okay.
cool to see.
Like
It's all the same. It's connected. Like
the grind mindset going into jiu-jitsu.
sure,
A lot of people kind of play lazy guards and like
yeah, yeah,
so it's like if you're coming from wrestling,
yeah. I mean, like
like Kyle's like he's had to tone it down coming into the jiu-jitsu room
yeah,
because a lot of guys are like hobbyists, they're older,
right.
and he's in there coming straight from like college wrestling.
And like trying to beat people up. Yeah, you have to adjust yourself a little bit. There's a level of maturity when you step into because it's all professional now, the professional ranks.
Mhm.
Like, you don't want to kill your opponents. You know, you've had enough time under your belt where you can kind of like, make adjustments and things like that. Like, but a guy like Kyle, yeah, like when you come out, like he's hungry and young, but we just got to be careful about our opponent. We don't, if we're training with someone, we don't want them to be hurt for 3 weeks
Yeah,
after we trained them because I had to get that command or I had to get that
and some
leg
guys are
lock, you know
coming
what
in
I
there
mean?
for self-defense.
Yeah. So just be mindful of your opponent. Makes you think a little bit more, and then you have to, I actually think it teaches you. I didn't learn that in wrestling. Wrestling, everything was like,
Go.
go, kill or be killed. If he's in front of you, you try to kill it.
That's how MMA was.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not really the way. There's a time for that.
Right.
When we have an open sparring day and you got kids from other gyms, and even then, like if I hurt someone and I'm boxing and I drop them, or if we're doing it and I drop him with a body shot, I'm not going to stand over him and finish him. You know what I mean? In
Yeah.
practice,
You-
like yeah,
You ever talk to anyone during matches?
A little bit of talking shit. You
I
know what
always
mean?
I always end up having conversations.
You have conversations.
Like what you're saying, like well actually one of my buddies, he was in a fight, it was pro, and the guy like hit him in the side and he's like, oh, and the guy was like, you all right? And he's like, stop hitting him. Stop hitting my friend. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm fine. He's like, all right, just checking. And then they like go back to just like beating each other's ass. But he like checked on him in the middle of like a fight.
Yeah.
Where you got, the guys that just keep pounding and stuff.
Yeah.
And
That's funny, man.
Speaking of the Tans match, like I think he just won this year, so congrats to him.
Yeah.
But this guy, I had this just misunderstanding with the ref where we were like resetting because we went out of bounds.
Sure.
But my belt was falling off, and I don't want to spend my energy resetting up my takedown or whatever, and then have to stop and retie my belt in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So I was kind of asking the ref, like, retie, can I get my And the guy's corner was like, take him down. Like, it wasn't an official stop.
Right.
So he ran up behind me, like kind of turned the corner and then shot on me and took me down. And the minute we went down, he's like laughing. He's like, I'm so sorry, bro. It says it to me. And I'm like,
yeah.
I was like,
protect yourself at all times kind of thing.
Yeah, it was on me. And I just laughed. You can hear in the match, like, because you were close to the table.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess we're both here to win.
Yeah.
and
yeah.
And he's like, we were like having a conversation as we're like I'm trying to get my ass back up. And he's like, I don't know. But
that's cool. That's cool that you can look at it that way and take that perspective.
But like,
like have fun with it. Like I grew up with the mindset like it wasn't fun. With the guys that I worked with, Terry, even before them, Terry and Tom Brands, like it's personal. You know what I mean? Like everything is personal. This is personal. I live when I win. I die when I lose. That kind of mindset. And that's big in wrestling. It really is. And especially with a lot of the programs out there at Division I, like it's what it is. Some guys have a little bit more of a healthier mindset. I don't think that's incredibly healthy to be like that all the time.
Yeah,
but to live like that is very painful, and you're causing yourself a lot of injury.
It's a lot of
in the long
stress.
term.
Like
it is.
I see. Like I had a lot of stress, just to be honest, and
life.
No, just like, well, back then, like back when I was competing and doing MMA, I was more like, I put everything I had into it. Like I really, really wanted to be a UFC.
Yeah.
Like I would have done anything. And I think I was around wrong group, wrong people, wrong team.
Yeah.
I think I burnt some bridges being on that team.
Sure.
And then when that team broke up, like I was telling you earlier, it was like really hard to find like a place to train striking, a place to train jiu-jitsu, promoters to get me going, a gym to keep me strength trained. Like I had to take it all upon myself.
Yeah.
And that was like a full-time job that doesn't pay a damn dime. Yeah. While I have to like live on my own.
Yep. Yeah.
I
get it.
Where I was going with that was
well, no, how to not take it personally when you lose.
Yeah.
Things don't go your way when you're putting your entire life into something.
I had so much stress getting in there. And then on the team I was on, I from day one wanted to be on every card I could get on.
Sure.
And then whenever I didn't get a card, I took it personally.
Yeah.
So I was more stressed and pissed. I was in there fighting everybody. I was in there sparring and training and putting everything I had every single day, and then not getting the reward of the fight.
Right.
So then when I did get it, I was excited.
Got you.
So that was like my payoff was like I'm gonna get to go in there.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I wasn't stressed in the cage. I was stressed as fuck getting to the cage.
I got you. And that's normal. But go ahead.
No. So that's where like it'd be like I can compete now. Jiu-jitsu is just not, to me, a jiu-jitsu competition doesn't feel the same as walking into a cage.
Sure.
I'm shitting my pants walking into a cage.
Yeah.
You can't really like
they mimic each other. The way I would say it like this is like they all sports kind of mimic each other. You get like whether you're playing tennis or soccer or whatever, you can get a little bit of butterflies going. When you get in the cage or the ring, it's the same, but just it's more intense.
Dude,
it's more intense. It is. It can be. And
I don't want to get knocked out.
or die or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you can die in a jiu-jitsu match too. You can die in a boxing match. I mean, you can. There's reason for that. I agree with you. I understand your pain. I know. I get 100% what you were going through. So what I tell guys is like, let's just try to keep things in perspective. let's enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, like towards the end of my MMA career, I didn't really like, I was doing it like, I think I'd like, I look at things from a different perspective. Like, I think I'd like done everything I needed to do. I probably wasn't going to be the UFC champion, wasn't going to be a Bellator champion. Maybe once upon a time it was going to happen. And I took a lot of years off after my first kid. When I came back and revisited, had my other fights, I came back with a new perspective. I read a couple of books, studied a little bit older, a little bit more mature, able to refine some techniques. And I realized that whether I won or when I lost, I felt almost exactly the same. It's kind of a weird, it's a unique feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. I won and I was kind of like, I think when you get to that point,
Yeah.
it's pretty much over. You know what I mean? And I wasn't making money. You know what I mean? That's different when you're making millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's a different story. But for me, in my personal growth or satisfaction, I didn't feel very good. I felt about the same, whether I won or lost. Really different, disappointed, like if I lost, but like way not much happier if I won.
Maybe like you were happy with your accolade. Like we said earlier, Jordan Burrow, like what have you done?
Exactly.
You've done more than the
Yeah.
average human and the average competitor.
I think it's like this, man. It's one of those deals where like I really like I like philosophy. I like Carl Jung. He's one of my
Oh,
favorites.
nice.
So Carl Jung, contemporary of Freud, psychology. Viktor Frankl, what is the meaning of life? Things like that. Everybody has their own meaning of life, and it's not just one thing. It's multifaceted, and it's many things. If you live your life based entirely on one particular instance, and that doesn't go your way, chances of survival go down quite a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
That's a
your
whole
life
episode in itself.
it can't be. Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
then with Jung, the goal of every person's soul is to reach what he called individuation or completion. And what I mean by that is like you integrate all the bad things with the good things and you become a whole person.
Okay.
And I think you can do that through martial arts. You do it through jiu-jitsu, you can do it through tennis, you can do it through
That's
all
awesome.
these areas of life,
That's very
And I
true.
think that's the bigger picture.
Take your lessons from other areas and apply them to your whole life.
100%. Not to get like too personal, but as a kid, I was kind of a sensitive kid. I was a fat kid, kind of got made fun of a lot. My older brothers were kind of rough on me, and I had resentment for them for a long time. But I'm happy for them because they made me tougher. And I have other instances in my life where were really adversarial, difficult, and I'm actually learning to become thankful for those because they're making me who I am now. Because I love who I am now.
Yeah.
I think that's the goal of everybody is to learn to kind of love and appreciate themselves regardless of what happens. Whether you win or lose your fucking MMA match or jiu-jitsu match, you have self-love, self-respect, do the right thing, you do your best, enjoy the process, and just go ahead and go on.
Dude, that's awesome. I think that's a really good way to close it. But hold on one second. Actually, I forgot. I have like a few questions.
Sure,
Some of them are
sorry,
funny.
dude.
This is from people I asked around questions for you.
Okay, all right.
Since I think like we confirmed yesterday, so I didn't have a lot of time to post and stuff. So
Sure.
I had to kind of go to like my little school community.
Okay.
That's something we could talk about too. Is I just started a school community. It's almost like a thing people join.
Yep.
Puts them in like almost like a Discord, you could say. Where we can all talk and share and answer each other's questions. And then I run it to where every week I'm putting like challenges, ideas, goals, and then I'm dropping videos in there.
That's cool.
So if that's like something that helps your program,
Okay.
I could definitely
look at it. Yeah. I've seen school before. SKOOL.
Yeah. But so let's see, first name. If someone trains 3 days a week, what should they focus on?
What's their goal?
Damn. they didn't tell me.
What's the goal? Okay, I'll give you the scenarios. If they're just for like personal enrichment and fitness because they're an accountant and they sit on the fat ass all day, 100% fitness
Showing up
first. Yeah, show up, get work in. If you don't have a lot of time, look for HIIT workouts where you can like spike your heart rate 2 to 5 times, where you lift weights, fast movements, time over tension, flexibility. If you don't have a lot of time, and I would focus on full body workouts. right? And if it's MMA, I wouldn't compete if you're only training 2 days a week.
Yeah, for
Right?
sure.
Yeah, you're setting yourself up for failure.
What's the one wrestling skill every jiu-jitsu athlete should?
Double leg takedown. Double leg takedown is the universal. I'll give you a quick story on that real
Even
quick.
in jiu-jitsu?
Even in jiu-jitsu, even if it's head in the center double leg takedown, even if it's grabbing 2 hands on 2 legs, there's different versions of it. Head on one side, head on the other, low, high, on an angle. I used to call it the Japanese double. I call it the Dagestani double now because Hamzat does it where he shoots his head in the middle. Habib does it where they're not in the position to get choked at all. Feet are running. The reason why in judo, this is an interesting story, and I may have my facts wrong on this. In judo, you used to be able to grab, sport judo, Olympic judo, you used to be able to grab the legs. And they took it away in like 2004, 2008. You're not allowed to grab leg attacks anymore. And the reason why is because you had these guys, this is after the Soviet Union collapsed, these guys coming that were like number 2, 3, 4 in the USSR, going to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, joining their judo team, never done in judo before, winning world and Olympic titles by shooting a double leg or single leg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Japan was like, or the International Judo Federation was like, yeah, we're gonna stop that. So now judo is
That makes
a
sense.
fraction of what it used to be, sport wise. And it's freestyle wrestling's done the same thing.
That's kind of what I'm afraid of, like, because I did an episode like, why is jiu-jitsu not in the Olympics? But that's kind of the same exact factor I had in my head. It was like, you might get some of these Olympic all-American wrestlers
Yeah,
going in there and just shooting. And then
Yeah.
what do you do? Gi and Rogi?
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And
it becomes its own autonomous governing body that's kind of like dogmatic. All of them are. Wrestling is like they have all these
it's-
rules and officials, and
you look at
it's-
like Pat Downey and Jason Nolf, like
Yeah.
getting into the jiu-jitsu scene.
yeah,
It'd probably be like, they used to say it wouldn't happen at the Olympic level.
sure.
You-
Yeah, it's true. They tried other ones. They tried putting sambo in there,
Yeah.
80. And we'll see. I mean, jiu-jitsu's grown enough for where it probably
Yeah.
could be an Olympic
UFC
sport.
now.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what Kyle wants. What's the biggest mistake jiu-jitsu guys make against wrestlers?
Oh,
I think they're all
pulling guard. Pulling guard. You
I've
know
got
what I mean?
good
Sometimes,
questions coming up.
yeah. Yeah, I would say like sometimes learn how to wrestle the wrestler, beat him in his own position. If he snaps you down to a front headlock, don't just let him take your back. Like stand there and fucking, fight him, face him. I call it breakdancing. Keep him in front of you a little bit. Then, learn how to scramble too. You know what I mean?
I noticed in the gi you can like slow him down a lot.
Yes.
Like the lapel grip.
Yep.
That happened to Kyle. Tell me if I'm wrong, but like standing up in no gi, keeping like
Yeah. Inside control, head movement, like learn what they're doing. They're working on stance and motion, they call it. They do a lot of stance and motion at the higher levels, especially.
seems like a lot of jiu-jitsu guys when they like lock up, they push forward and backward. They never like circle.
They don't understand the lateral movement as much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, not to sound like an asshole too, but a lot of guys that go into MMA straight from jiu-jitsu too, they kind of lack that a little bit also too. And this is another reason I'm not shitting on jiu-jitsu at all because I love jiu-jitsu. I think they're all amazing. I like wrestling as a foundational sport because you have ground dimensions and you have a lot of footwork. So you take a wrestler, you can teach him to box fairly easy rather than somebody that's got amazing proprioception on the mat on their back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Vinny Magalhaes is another example, like Robert Drysdale, both stud athletes. I'm not shitting on them at all because I love Drysdale. And he did amazing in his MMA career. But you watch them box a little bit and they don't understand the movement as much. It took a little bit longer. It didn't develop a little bit earlier.
It's funny because my buddy, he's a ex-boxer, and that's how I was teaching him to pass the guard.
Okay.
It was like, you're like square, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, step off to the side like you would, like,
Yeah,
like
exactly. On an angle, yeah.
Yeah, get your angle. So like you're gonna step off to the side of the guard while you got a leg drag, or you know what I mean?
Yep.
So you're not square fighting the legs, because if my legs are open and you're inside, like you're pretty much in my guard, I can track you. But if my legs are like, if you get outside my guard, now I got to go on my side, and
Right.
so I was trying to translate his boxing footwork into guard passing.
Yeah.
And it started helping him a lot.
Yeah. Because you're going with something that he knows.
Yeah. So
that's a good idea. Real good idea.
translating skills.
Yep.
Do you, well, I probably already answered. Do you think jiu-jitsu neglects wrestling too much?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like you look at it's a component of jujitsu, kind of like boxing is a component of MMA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think like there's different versions. You can do, upper body Greco-Roman style, which I think a lot of guys aren't really doing. But then you got guys that are coming like Nicky Rodriguez is a wrestler that picked up, learned jujitsu and he's great in both now. So I think you're starting to see emerging with a lot of like the higher level guys. Even Gordon Ryan learned how to have great takedowns, at the end there too. You know, I think it's merging. I think as we go along, it's merging more and more. And yes, I think jujitsu guys should train wrestling with shoes on, with you know what I mean.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm 100%.
that's a hot take. I'd love to wear shoes.
Yeah, wear shoes.
I wonder.
You
I've
know,
never
'cause
worn
you-
shoes while doing jiu-jitsu. I bet it'd be great.
well, I mean, you can do catch wrestling. I mean, you can change it up a little bit too. So you make catch
I
wrestling
would try
moves
that.
where you have, normal submissions with pins. You know what I mean?
You can make a tournament like that because, like, you could think you might get traction with the shoes, but ankle locks and heel hooks is
Yeah.
will be easier to hold on to. So you
Whether you keep them or don't keep them,
give the athlete, make it more.
it's kind of a huge advantage. Yeah.
All right, so this is the one I thought was funny because it goes back to what you just said. Does butt scooting shut down wrestling?
Butt scooting. Oh, so like jujitsu butt scooting? You talking about? Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. I mean, it can, it can. It just depends on the rule set that they're in. You know what I mean? If you're looking at a real world scenario, like you guys are fighting each other, are you going to pull guard? Are you going to butt scoot? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand the rules behind it. And if it's part of the rule set, fine. You're looking to go out and win. That's the only way you can win. Cool. I get that. But what I would say is, you like there's techniques now where guys are doing that. Like Nicky Rod's got that. He's acting like he's pulling guard, and then he grabs the ankle pick afterwards. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's cool. Utilize it. Mix it up. You know?
It's funny you say that. That's something I've been like kind of working on is a fake guard pull.
Yeah. Fake guard pull to a shot. Yep.
I'd say it doesn't count as a guard pull if I get the takedown off of it.
Yeah.
Because I
got you.
I'm not a guard puller, but
Yeah.
I'm like if I call it earning my guard pull.
Yeah.
So if you guard pull to a shin on shin,
Yeah.
or you fake guard pull and get that ankle pick,
Yeah.
or you get the scoop, whatever.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. And listen, the rules are the rules. So if it's in the rule set where you can pull guard or butt scoot, like you can
that's
do
very
it.
generous.
I wouldn't do it. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but like just like in freestyle wrestling, the rule, like Armin could say, well, if Armin had lost to Giorgio and that, and you'd been like, well, we could, if this was MMA, it would be different. I'm just it's a hypothetical situation. Well, dude, it's not MMA, it's freestyle wrestling, you know? So
that was fun.
So I mean, in that regard, I can see both sides on it, you know.
Dude, I can't like when I see two people pull like butt scoot at the same time, I cannot defend the sport. Like it's just like,
and then you see all the memes on social media with that,
my gosh, when I see that, I'm like, please, like one of you guys.
Pretty good ones out there.
Yeah, and I've seen like, I think personally, I would be interested in like doing my own tournament one day and trying to come up with the best rule set.
Yeah,
because I just think that like some of the old school ones are outdated. So you get like a lot of those weird like I see guys that just pull guard and they do like this, so you can't pass, or they're like doing this stuff.
Yeah.
So they're just really pulling, and this guy's working his ass off.
Yeah. Well, you could add like a stalling, like wrestling has stalling calls. You know, I don't know if you get like a yellow card.
They'll do that the whole match, and then once the guy starts getting a little bit tired, like because they pulled guard, if this guy on top like sits down and takes a rest, or like ends up sitting, and that guy just sits up, that's 2 points, and then they'll win the match.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like
it's kind of weird. So wrestling, the one thing that's I like and I don't like about like folk styles pretty much stayed the same for a long time. Collegiate wrestling, but the International Wrestling Committee for Freestyle and Greco, especially freestyle, they're constantly changing. And every year they're trying to make adaptations to make it like more fan friendly. And they've added like stalling calls and yellow cards, not really yellow cards, but they call it passivity, like to make it so that you're not doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think UFC BJJ is kind of doing that too.
Okay.
Like they're like I like the fact that it's rounds. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That you go back, you get coached, come back.
Yep. Yep.
And I think they're, man, maybe I might be mistaken, but I think they are kind of like, if there's no movement, they're freestanding them up.
Yeah. Yep. And that's kind of like what freestyle wrestling is. Like freestyle and American folk style, you were the same sport at one point 80 years ago, and then they just went on two different paths. Now they're essentially different sports with some of the same techniques.
That's
You know,
cool.
and so jiu-jitsu has the potential. It's such a creative phase right now. You know, which one's the best for learning MMA? Which one's the best for it? And you have all these different versions of it.
Yeah,
You know, it's pretty interesting. It's unique.
it's growing.
Yeah. You got catch wrestling trying to make a takeout, you know, trying to step in there too. It kind of fizzled out there.
Real American catch wrestling.
Yeah.
So rack is going to be the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that raffle event, dude.
Yeah, it was a cool event, man.
I hope
Rap,
they
they did a great job. 100% like the people that did the UFC, the production, whoever the production team was, that's who that is. That was like that was essentially
Yeah,
a UFC event.
dude, it was.
You know?
Yeah, and just how exciting. Like, I mean, most of the time, like I've been able to watch because I'm in the sport. It's like I can watch like a college wrestling
Yeah.
meet, but like I don't know, just the way that event is marketed with the UFC guy.
Yep. Yep.
They got some influencers, but it's not bullshit influencers.
Yeah,
those
like
guys.
Muggsy or what his name is, and Muggsy
Muggsy.
Bulljunk, and then Giorgio.
But
Yeah, they're
but
not complete bullshit. Like Giorgio was a state champ, and I don't know about Muggsy. And there's a couple other kids too. They're smart the way they're going about it. You know,
Yeah,
they are.
it's not like Logan called out yet.
Yeah, no, not
Jake
yet.
called out yet.
Yeah,
Let's cut it.
yeah.
I'm
Sounds
good,
good, my man.
You
I
happy?
appreciate you. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for the interview. It was great talking to you.
Yeah, man.
lot of
Oh yeah,
fun.
did you want to talk about your wrestling club? Then?
Oh yeah. So we got the Wrestling Academy right now at the UFC gym in Largo. I'm also the amateur and assistant pro MMA coach over here at the UFC gym in Largo. We have 2 locations. We don't have a team name yet, but we have people that train here all the time. Hit me up on social media, Nik Fekete, and that's it. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, bro.
Quick little interruption. I know you rode today and you left and did not ask that question because your blood was pumping, adrenaline going, and you were too tired to ask. So I made an app, Acai, aka Acai. It's a journal app for BJJ connect to the database that I made where you can type in your session, questions, or what even went well. The app will use the AI to analyze your role and your training session for the day, give you a complete summary. It'll give you corrections to be made, drills, and much, much more. You can also add goals to your week. So hop in while the beta's up and the app is free and check it out. Also, now's your chance to lock in the free package before I put the pro package up, and this app is no longer free. Sorry for the interruption, back to the content. Thanks for everything.
They try to drown me. I can swim upstream so profoundly. I can stay calm in a dire situation. I'm at it every day, no time for a vacation. And I smell blood in the water. Everything I do, yeah, I do it for my daughters. Now I'm gonna shut your lips. It's time for a brand new episode of What? We talking jit, say what? We talking jit, say what? We talking jit, say what? We talking jit, said it's time for a brand new episode of Talking Jit.